Hi, I'm Kyle, and I made these. I'm Kyle, I'm in New York City, and I do woodworking. Yeah, what started my woodshop journey? I started in high school, and it was actually built into the curriculum, but I was never a fine artist. But doing those classes, I really got into the flow state for the very first time. I really loved solving problems. I really loved making with my hands. I really loved planning projects. And it was ultimately, all of those things were about people. So yeah, I've been living in New York for almost 4 years now, always in kind of very small apartments. I've always kind of kept up woodworking and things like that, almost out of necessity of wanting to kind of create my environment has been kind of one of the big driving forces behind keeping up this hobby. You know, space is so precious here in New York City. Stooping obviously is a huge part of New York City. People leave out furniture all the time. I've gotten a lot of pieces. I've fixed things, I've repurposed things, I've given things to friends. It's a way to find reuse of things and give them another life, which I think is amazing. So oftentimes when people are moving, they throw out the bed slats with the bed. But I've found a design that lets me create shelving brackets from them and kind of give them a different life. Bench commission that I had, which basically made made the entire wall a bench, but that really transformed the space. So it felt like this room was like a conversation pit where everyone could sit alongside the walls. That one was very satisfying because I think it wasn't just about the standalone isolated piece itself, but it was about how it changed the space, how it moved people, how it encouraged people to sit down and kind of all have this very communal feel. So as a beginner, if I were starting out, I would think about what do I need? What do I need in my apartment? Do I need a side table, a little stool? And then from there, I would just do a little research on YouTube or TikTok. There's a lot of great content out there of people making pretty much everything. Visualizing, sketching, prototyping are quintessential for a designer or anybody. I really see it as a tool. And of course, you know, sketches don't have to be pretty. You can really quickly see like, oh, like I want a chair in like these different styles. You can draw in references. You can figure out how to actually put it together. I think that is a very big part of being a designer and woodworking is the problem solving along the way. So you kind of resort to using your sketchbook, prototyping with the things like pieces of cardboard. It kind of helps to make tiny physical prototypes to lift ideas off the page to kind of see like, oh, like I could see how I can move around that now. Maybe the proportions are a little bit off. It kind of does the work for you. So for materials, I think it's always best to start with something cheap, especially if you're prototyping. So it could be like a cheaper wood, like a poplar or plywood or things that you find. And then as you kind of gain skills and confidence, you can refine it to like higher quality materials. For tools, you can do a lot with a little. There's a lot of very versatile tools. I would prioritize the most versatile things like drills and things like that are kind of worth spending the money on, and they're very helpful for other tasks. So I've definitely had times where I was like, let me just go with the cheapest thing possible just because I need to get it done. But then ultimately that didn't last me very long. I teach an amazing art studio in Chinatown, New York. And it's a little bit of a smaller lesson, but it's very, I would say, newbie friendly. I've had parents, I've had kids, I've had people who have never used a drill before, people who are like, oh, like I don't know if I can like really do this, or they kind of say like, oh, like my partner here that I'm with is gonna do all of that stuff. But we've kind of created the program so that it's kind of a great bite-sized lesson. I think that's very important because with any kind of new hobby, you can kind of get discouraged if you don't quite get it right away. So we have all of the pieces pre-cut, so you don't have to use any of the dangerous table saws and all of that, because that also takes a long time to learn. Yeah, my TikTok, Kyle Smiles Studio. TikTok is a fun way to reimagine like what that process is, share it with people. So whether that be kind of showing all the things behind the scenes, or if it's about showing like a piece in my client's space and all the steps that it took to get there, all the different sketches that it took to kind of imagine that, to kind of get in line with the vision with my client, the test prototypes, and finally putting it all together. Yeah, I would say get messy, get experimental. Don't worry about making the perfect thing. Again, the process is just as important. It's about exploring, it's about gaining confidence in your skills, it's about finding something that fits your needs at first, and then from there you can think about like, oh, like I really want to focus on this, I really want to solve this problem for that person. Yeah. Finally, a last piece of advice would just to be curious. So if you see something that catches your eye, if you see something that looks really good, take a photo of all your inspirations, reach out to people on like, oh, like how did you, find that piece, or how did you make that? Connect with other people. People just have so much knowledge in their heads, so being able to tap into that and be curious is really important.
We're not done shooting.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to discover more hobbies and visit notjustahobby.com to learn more.